Hi, I wanted to talk to you all about something that the Lord spoke over me years ago. And it was a friend of mine, a pastor. We were at a small group, and he looked at me and he said, "I see the word faithful written over you." And he went on to talk about how I was reliable, how I was faithful, how I always showed up and I was there. And I went home and I went, "Oh, well, that's nice," but kind of wanted to hear things like, gee, you're going to preach to thousands, you're going to write a book, you're going to do all these great things. Maybe not quite that dramatic, but you get the picture that sometimes we just want to hear these great things, and then we hear, gosh, you're just so faithful, and you're like, okay. And then about a year ago, another prophet called me completely out of the blue, doesn't know me, never really met me, and out of the whole congregation called me forth and looked at me and said, "The Lord says, well done, thou good and faithful servant." And again, the word faithful. And so I started thinking about faithful, and I wrote a couple of things down. And it says faithfulness is a very high calling. If you look through scriptures, you're going to find those who God called, he used greatly because they were faithful. God is called faithful. None of us are insignificant. None of you out there listening to this are insignificant. You all are extremely important. You are vital. And maybe you faithfully show up to church every Sunday. You're always work hard at your job. You're on time and you're there and you do what the bosses tell you to do, and you do a good job at work. Maybe you pray for others, or you're going to help meet the needs of others. Maybe it's a place to stay. Maybe it's money. Maybe it's buying groceries to others. But you don't really think that that's important. And you look at that as, well, it's all kind of insignificant. But it's not, because to those who you've ministered to your pastor who sees you every Sunday in the congregation, who sees that you give, that you're there if you're needed, when there's an event, you show up and you're there and you support them. That's important to them. How about people that maybe you've opened your home up and you've had them stay with you? And that's important to them. Maybe it's things like on your job where you're working hard and you're doing a good job. That's important to your boss, and that's important to those that you're working with. Maybe you're somewhere and you're getting maybe your tires aired up, and the guy that's doing it, you say, "Hey, can I pray for you?" And you pray for him, and he looks at you and he says, "People have said that to me, but nobody's actually stopped and prayed for me." And those things are important. It makes others feel important, feel like they're valued. And I think when we are faithful in what God's called us to do, then we can value other people, make other people feel valued. Maybe God's called you to write a book. And I would say in the midst of your mundane, keep writing. Maybe he's called you to teach. In the midst of your mundane, teach well. Maybe he's called you to do something as silly as me standing here doing a YouTube video in front of a camera, which I don't like to do, but I'm doing it because God's told me to do it. I don't know who I'll reach, but if it's just one person that says, "I saw that, and I needed to hear that because I was feeling insignificant. My life was mundane. My life was like day by day, and I didn't think I was making a difference for God." But you know what? When you're faithful, you're making a difference. And that's important. So here's what I say. Be faithful in what he's called you to do, even if it's mundane, even if you feel like It's insignificant. It's not, because he sees it. And so I'm hoping to get this upload this, and I'm hoping that next week I'm going to have an interview with a friend of mine who is very faithful in praying for children. So anyway, God bless. Have a great day.